That's the $50 million question. We call it here at Provenance the new California cuisine because we've made quite a few advancements since Alice Waters coined that term in the 70s. When Alice was inventing California cuisine, though she didn't know it at the time, the limit on what you could get produce-wise in California was shallow. You could, for instance, my relatives in Italy, I'd come back from Italy and I couldn't find arugula, radicchio, none of those were on the shelves in California in the 1970s. Today, however, you can't swing a stale baguette without hitting a great ingredient. And all of it's farm grown here in California. So new California cuisine to me is the techniques that were perfected in the 70s by Alice Water and Company, because there were people down in LA, Wolfgang Puck in LA, Alice Waters in Northern California, both of them working together to create this wonderful cuisine that we've all been taking advantage of. And now, however, to add to that, because it was all started with French and Italian techniques, now we've layered on Pan-Asian, Pan-Latin, and Pan-Mideastern flavors on top to reflect the rich cultural diversity that we have in California today. In the 70s, it wasn't quite as ethnically diverse. There were Chinese people here, and there were Mexican people here. Today, we have a rich Latino culture all over California, a rich Pan-Asian culture, and a rich Mideastern culture. So as a chef, I take the advantage of all of this. I get the locally grown vegetables and produce that you can't find anyplace else. Hormone-free proteins, wild fish out of the Pacific, and I take it and I cook it with French and Italian techniques, which is what I was trained to do. But on top, I get to stream these wonderful ethnic flavors. California cuisine is so hard to define because it's a mystique. It really is about the California style, more so than what is California cuisine. Because today, you can go to Brooklyn, New York, and they are doing California cuisine. I don't care what they say, but you can look at any restaurant menu in Brooklyn, and that menu was born in California, not New York. It has to do with freshness of ingredients. It has to do with ethnic flavors interpreted in a different way. And it has to do with being socially responsible. Regardless of whether you're buying your ingredients locally or because we are in a global economy, you are buying your ingredients in Idaho, like I do. I buy it from Snake River Farms in Idaho. Small family farm in Idaho, doing everything right. And Idaho can't support this farm, but I'm proud to support this farm. And if there weren't chefs like me all over the United States supporting this farm, we wouldn't get the fantastic beef and pork that come from them. So we're supporting little farms, doing everything right, leaving small footprints on the earth. And so California cuisine is so hard to define. It's not like people say, well, I'm going to Cathy's restaurant to eat California tonight. Whereas they might say, I'm going to Patsy's to have Italian, or we're going over to Wusong's to have Chinese tonight. Nobody ever says, hey, we're going over to Cathy's restaurant to eat California tonight. Why is that? It's because it's a mystique. Those of us practicing it know it. When you're eating it, you know it. But it's like California itself. It's very, very hard to define. Frank Lloyd Wright in 1928 said if the entire world were tilted on edge, everything loose would roll into California. And I believe he's right. And that looseness is what's created the food culture here today.